Welcome back to 10 10 10, 10 classes, 10 days, and I have 10 minutes to talk about a topic of my choice. I'm Berit Munro, I'm the leader of the Oily Tribe, and it's my great pleasure today to talk to you about an amazingly important subject, and that is the subject of sleep. So why is sleep so very important? When we have lack of sleep, and I'm sure we've all experienced sleepless nights, or maybe our sleep was interrupted, maybe through children waking up through the night, it makes you feel rather foggy brained the next day. And a lot of industrial accidents, statistics show us, are as a result of lack of sleep. Sleep is not something where you can sleep ahead 15 hours one day and then you've got a couple of hours sleep in a sleep bank. It just doesn't work that way. When you've missed it, you've missed it. And what happens when we sleep is that our body has the opportunity to really reboot and to renew and to restore and to, control, alt, delete, if we're looking at it in terms of computer technology. It's when the slate is really wiped clean. It's when we are totally relaxed, we're not doing anything, our body's not otherwise occupied, and so the body uses that opportunity to really just go through all of the the organ systems and really restore balance, because that is what our body always wants to try and do. Now, just while we're talking about that, our essential oils, while I like to call them little miracles in an amber bottle, essential oils just support the body and establishing balance. Our body likes to be in balance. It likes to be nice and even. It likes to be in a state of homeostasis. It likes to be in a state of equilibrium. It likes to be on an even keel. Now, life is a bit like that, isn't it? So what essential oils do is help us to restore balance. And we do that beautifully when we have good restorative sleep at nighttime. Now, sleep cycles, you can do your research. They go sort of, in little waves like that. And what happens is the depth and the quality of our sleep, or rather the quality of our sleep, is really directly proportional to the depth of the curve that we get. And if we're missing out this bottom part of our sleep cycle, that is when we run into problems. When we're not getting into that deep sleep cycle, it means that our body is really stressed. It means that it really can't do all of the rebooting. It means that if you are, for example, looking to release some weight, or you're looking to shift some weight, you are actually finding it very difficult to do so. And so just getting a good night's sleep, many good nights sleep, will really facilitate you in that weight release journey. So make sure you get a really good night's sleep. So what are some things that prevent us from having a good night's sleep? Well, stress would really be on the top of that list, wouldn't it? 21st century, we are busy. We're constantly bombarded with a gazillion bits of information that we have to process. And processing the information, not just on a physical, but also on an emotional and on a mental and a psychological or spiritual level even, means that there is a lot for our body to do. We have all of these data coming in, and it needs to be worked out. It needs to be processed by the body somehow, and we do that while we're sleeping. So stress is the number one culprit. Now, when we are stressed, it puts our body into a fight or flight kind of situation or function. So what we have is, when we've got stress, we have high cortisol levels. And when we have high cortisol levels, we have low melatonin. And melatonin is what we need to help us go to sleep and stay asleep. So just simply having some stress in our life is causing these melatonin levels to be decreased. When we have cortisol in our blood or in our body, then also our digestive system doesn't operate very well. It simply means that enzymes aren't released from the pancreas to help absorb the food, break down the food, so that we can absorb all of the nutrients out of it. So you can see the effect of cortisol in our body is not such a cool idea. What raises cortisol? Well, 21st century living will do that. But there are also some things that we do, or some people do, that will also increase cortisol levels. And I'm afraid your cup of tea or your cup of coffee are top of that list. Now, I don't know if you knew, but 1 cup of coffee will increase your cortisol levels for about 18 hours. So you work out when you're going to have that cup of coffee because, as I said, high cortisol levels means low melatonin, means that your sleep is affected in some way. Other things that increase our cortisol levels are things like alcohol or excessive exercise. It just puts that body into a position where it thinks it's running away from something. There is a stressor of some sort. And while that is part of our survival mechanism, our survival instinct, and it's a good thing to have, 21st century living means though that we're constantly in this fight or flight mode, and that is not such a good thing for us. Okay, so what can we do to help us go to sleep? Well, good sleep hygiene in the form of really switching off our electronic devices at least half an hour before we retire for bed is a good thing to do. So I would suggest that, whenever you want to go to bed, whenever you need to go to bed, half an hour before that, just really switch everything off. Grab a book, maybe listen to a meditation tape. Don't do that on your phone, find some other way to do that. But certainly scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest, last thing at mind means that your mind, when you close your eyes, is still scrolling through, and you've just bombarded it with far more data than it actually needs. And they have to also be processed, okay? So 30 minutes beforehand, turn your electronic devices off, and then I would suggest that you go into your bedroom and you make everything really nice and cozy and beautiful, and turn your diffuser on, okay? Diffusing oils, and I was talking about the power of diffusion yesterday, diffusing oils will really have the fastest benefit emotionally for you. Now, when we breathe these oils in, they don't just create these wonderful emotions, but what they do is they also affect our endocrine system. And that has all to do, all of our endocrine system, all of our neurotransmitters, all that kind of thing is directly affected when we're inhaling some oils. So some cool blends that I would like to suggest. Look, it is very basic. It is very simple. It's what your granny used. It's just pure lavender oil. Charge your diffuser maybe with 1 or 2 drops of lavender oil, and then you can also just put a couple of drops of lavender oil onto the soles of your feet. Now, on the soles of our feet we have reflexology points. So the ones for the head are on the big toe. Okay, so imagine this is my big toe. You really give it a really good rub in, really massage that so that we're hitting all of those reflex points. Okay, so you can do that with some lavender oil. And that would be really beautiful. And then whatever you've got left, I tend to just rub that on my chest so that I can have that sort of aroma around me as well. Now, some people use linen spray or they spritz their pillow. I don't have anything against it. Obviously, that's your choice to do that. I just feel that I need to go to sleep. My pillow doesn't, so I like to have the oils on me. Okay, so charge your diffuser with that. If you've got a snorer in the family who might be keeping everybody awake, it would be a really nice addition to add some easy air or some breathe. Maybe 2 drops of easy air, 2 drops of lavender would be absolutely divine. Lavender and, let me just see what I've got here. Lavender and wild orange work really well together. And while typically we say that the citrus oils are very energizing, wild orange also has a calming property to it. So, use that, quite easily, quite nicely at nighttime. 2 drops each would be absolutely gorgeous. You could add into the mix some cedarwood oil. Cedarwood and lavender, I can't hold them all up at the same time. Cedarwood and lavender oil would be really lovely with the addition of some wild orange. Now, if you've got children who really, really struggle to fall asleep, then maybe you need to reach to the concrete boots. The vetiver oil, which is absolutely wonderful. Applied just 1 drop or dilute it down, use appropriate dilutions and fractionated coconut oil and apply that to their big toe. And of course, we can't go past our beautiful blend, Lavender Peace. And that is a combination of ylang-ylang, of marjoram, muscle relaxant. Lavender, obviously we've talked about lavender, but it has cedarwood and vetiver and hoewood oils already in it. So these very, very grounding oils are allowing you to actually connect to Mother Earth and allow you to sleep. Things to watch out for: look at the direction of the way your bed is facing. Do your research. Sometimes if we're not aligned with the magnetic, the Earth's magnetic field, that can have an influence. Maybe have a glass of water with lemon oil just before you retire to bed. Lemon oil tends to keep us asleep. If you wake up between certain times, or regularly wake up at certain time of the night, then perhaps investigate the Chinese model of the body. And between 1 and 3 o'clock typically means that your liver is trying to process and trying to detox things. 3 to 5 means that your lungs are trying to get rid of whatever is, whatever you might have spoken or whatever you might want to speak, and you're trying to get off your chest, and that is what's keeping you awake. So make sure that you good night's sleep. I know it's the holiday season right now. I know it's getting closer and closer to Christmas. And so it's with great excitement and all of those sort of things. But sleep is really, really important. And then use your balance oil to reduce your stress during the day. Apply it as and when you need it. Do it. Do yourself a favor. And what's more, bless other people with these oils as well. Because you believe you me, there are a lot of people who don't sleep very well and they need our help. Love you all. Hope you enjoyed this segment. See you tomorrow for some more 10-10-10. Ciao for now.